The sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365.
Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central. I'm here live, back Sundays with an abbreviated transmission, 4 to 6 p.m. Central. Thank you so much for joining us. Your calls are coming up in the next segment. What do you think should be done to little Timmy Geithner? The mainstream media is saying he's not long for this world politically, that he'll be removed from the head of the Treasury. But should we just blame Tim Geithner when he's only a bag man for the private shareholders of the Federal Reserve? And here's the issue. The banks have stolen $28 trillion. Bloomberg reported last year it was 23.7. Now it's over $4 trillion added that they have stolen and then handed out to private central banks globally, while at the same time the Federal Reserve has given the order to not lend to the general public. Why are they doing that? Because they want to destroy the economy, to force you deeper into debt, to bankrupt the states so that they, the big central banks, can loan to institutional investors and the government. That's right. The private central banks loan back the money that the federal government gives them. And the banks also leverage it 10 to 1 conservatively through fractional reserve banking. But before I get into all of this, I want to be clear with everybody. Just like a few months ago, I went completely wild on air, even popped champagne, never done that before, to signify to everyone so people would pay attention that the ClimateGate emails proving that the UN knows that man-made global warming isn't real, that climate change is natural, that it gets hotter, then it gets colder, and that they want to tax carbon dioxide in all human activity for a global government. And we got their own internal emails. Now more documents have come out. Ben Santer, the head scientist for the IPCC, admitting that they excised their own report where their own scientists said man wasn't contributing to global warming or climate change. And I told you that was big, that may kill Copenhagen, the open announcement for a treaty to be signed between all the nations of the earth to set up a private global government made up of the private banks. This situation with Geithner is just as big. 99% of Americans in Gallup poll were against the banker bailout of October 3rd, 2008. A year and several months, a year and 3 months later, we are looking at $28 trillion plus stolen domestically. We're looking at governments worldwide refusing to pay this private debt to the banks that was made through fraud. And now that the public learns more of the scam, and now as open discussions are held on national television by the controlled right and controlled left, the system is on the run. People aren't just talking about Barack Obama or John McCain or Sarah Palin or other distractions. These people are front puppets. They're talking about the real power structure. People say, who is the New World Order? It is the private central banks that make money out of nothing, backed up with our tax money. And here's the big issue. They now want that $28 trillion paid back that the government gave to the banks. Okay? And so now they're announcing new sales taxes they want nationally, and excise taxes, and value-added taxes, and how we've got to have these new taxes. And they've got controlled opposition like Glenn Beck and Bill O'Reilly every time I see their show saying, oh, we've got to pay this debt off, we've got to have a big tax. Iceland's saying no. Poland's saying no. Greece is saying no. The people are saying it's a scam. We as the American people need to arrest these Madoff types and not pay them this money. We're bankrupt. Obama has spent more money in less than a year than all presidents previously before him. You thought George Bush was bad, tripling the size of government in 8 years. Obama quadrupled it in less than a year. That's official Congressional Budget Office numbers. These are criminals. This is criminal. I mean, in my film, Fall the Republic, in the documentary of the Obama deception, the two I released last year, I tell you how it's a scam. I tell you how AIG was used as a holding company for the $200+ billion they got that they then paid out to Goldman Sachs and others for bonus money. It was the holding company. That's why Geithner, and that's why Paulson, and that's why Bernanke paid it to AIG, because they were all former heads or deputy heads of Goldman Sachs. And I have the clips in Congress of Paulson. This is bipartisan criminality. You're not going to fix it just arresting or indicting or firing Geithner. Paulson got asked in the House and Senate banking committees, where is the trillions? And he said, I won't tell you. And they said, okay, you yourself got $200 million+ in bonuses from Goldman Sachs that you formerly headed. And who gave you the authorization to give yourself money? And he said, the Treasury Department gave me a waiver. And they said, who is the head of the Treasury Department? Well, I am. You can't have Goldman Sachs executives in the government giving themselves hundreds of millions of dollars apiece. It's criminal. And they did it all by design to destroy Bear Stearns and others, their competition, Lehman Brothers. And that all came out in their internal emails in the 5-part series on McClatchy newspapers 2 months ago. And I got the writer on the show. We have these people red-handed. The fact that he ordered them, the fact that Geithner ordered AIG and others not to tell the public who they were paying the money to, directly to him. This is all, folks, every regulatory position of any power is run by Goldman Sachs. They are the piloting group of the banks. They were chosen in the last 20 years, before it was J.P. Morgan Chase and a few others, but they almost have no power in this. I mean, they're involved in all of it, but the main culprits, because when you're doing a criminal operation, you got to have a small group to keep it contained. It's all Goldman Sachs people. Okay, let's go to what Fox News is saying about the criminality. Then I'll play what Ed Schultz had to say briefly. The full clips are up on Infowars.com, but I'm going to play just a little bit here. Here is Friday evening. This is Judge Napolitano, the best guy on Fox, comes on this show routinely. He's a real patriot, folks. And here he is telling you the truth. Here it is.
Now to the Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner, potentially facing criminal charges. According to Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano. There's a long way to go between here and there, so stay with us. It all deals with how the Federal Reserve Bank of New York handled AIG, and he was in charge of that, the American Insurance Group, during the depths of the financial crisis. It's about what he did with them. Geithner headed the bank then. Bloomberg News reports that the New York Fed told AIG to withhold details from the public about its payments to banks. It reports AIG wrote in a draft that it paid banks, including Goldman Sachs, every penny on the dollar for toxic credit default swaps. Those are insurance-like contracts for financial institutions that aren't regulated and don't have to be backed by cash. The New York Fed crossed that line out of the report, according to the report citing emails between the two companies. With us now to help explain this and what the legal ramifications are, Judge Andrew Napolitano. I got to tell you, I just read all that. I didn't read it very well, and I don't understand it.
I think you read it quite well.
I didn't read it well. Would you help us understand?
Sure. Tim Geithner was the president of the New York Federal Reserve Bank in the fall of 2008, when the Federal Reserve and the Treasury and the White House and the Congress decided to bail out AIG.
Right.
In the process of that bailing out of AIG, many documents were exchanged. If you went to the bank to borrow money, you'd have to fill out documents.
All right, stay there. We're going to come back and play about a minute more of that. Then I'm going to play what Ed Schultz had to say. And the White House, like Nixon, may have been caught red-handed. Stay with us.
Hi folks, this is Alex Jones, and I want to tell you about the Silver Lungs generator. Now you can produce pure and endless colloidal silver and deliver the solution directly into the bloodstream by breathing the solution through the lungs. The respiratory system is the first line of defense for airborne pathogens and viruses. The Silver Lungs generator infuses the respiratory system with your self-produced nano-silver solutions and also delivers the silver nanoparticles instantly into the bloodstream. With continued legislation threatening the sale of nano-silver products, you can now produce pure and endless colloidal silver with the Silver Lungs generator.